Welcome back to the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Today's Sunday, September 29th, 2019. Let's go ahead and look at some space weather real quick. Our solar wind speeds are sitting at a 483.2 kilometers per second with a density of 1.2. Now, we were in G1 storm this weekend. It was predicted to get as high as a G2. It did not happen. So since then, we have seen solar wind speeds gradually fall back closer to the moderate side of speeds. However, we are still blank without sunspots. Again, this now makes 26 days in a row without a sunspot. 197 days for 2019 in total. The KP indice of 3 and a 24-hour max of 3 as well. Now, during the geomagnetic storm, we experienced increase in solar winds. KP indice went up. We also saw Lorenzo, the hurricane, and we have a very rare winter storm happening right now. Let's take a look at the SDO in motion a little bit closer here. As you see, there are some smaller coronal holes in the southern part of our star. But where I was going with as far as the space weather that we've had with the G1 and everything else, we also had a couple of strong earthquakes. And one today actually here in, I think it's Constitution, Chile, and it was 6.8. And since then we've had several aftershocks, 4.0, 4.2, 4.7, 4.3, 4.5. The list goes on. This area has been rocking pretty much the majority of the day today. The last one recorded out there was a 5.3. So some very strong aftershocks here from the original 6.8. Now, some are saying that it was being reported as a 7.1, but has been downgraded to a 6.8. So, recap the weekend. We had Hurricane Lorenzo strengthened to a Cat 5 storm. We have this monstrous snowstorm that's happening right now in Montana. And of course, we've had a couple of strong earthquakes. One with a 6.1, a couple in the 6.3 range. And then today, with originally reported of a 7.1, has been now downgraded to a 6.8. So, the relation to all this, again, we had high solar winds all weekend long. We were in a G1 storm on Saturday. The correlation with the strong earthquakes, the increased rare Atlantic storm, which never gets that strong for no reason that far away, especially that close to the African coast. And of course, this September snowstorm. Cosmic rays have been in abundance in our atmosphere. And we all know what happens when we have an abundance of cosmic rays in our atmosphere. It creates more precipitation, creates more cloud coverage, cooling as well. But the impressive part is also, we believe that these solar storms do, they do fuel some of these hurricanes. It did with Dorian when we had the G2 storm that made it a crazy Cat 5. It was a super Cat 5. And now this weekend we saw Lorenzo strengthen to a Cat 5 also during a solar storm. So let's get you up to date here, folks. We have our winter storm in full effect here in Montana. Let's go ahead and get this refreshed for us. We'll take a look at the live radar. And I'll go ahead and read off some. I'll also take a look at some of the stats so far today on the snowfall out here. Bear with me, folks. This radar's taking a minute. Okie doke. Good job, live show. I have this all set up. And of course, the YouTube gremlins strike again. Gotta love them. They're cute. All right, so let's take a look at this storm here in Montana. This is real-time data. We are now witnessing this storm beginning to wind down just a little bit. This storm was expected to go all the way through tonight into early morning tomorrow. And right now, that appears to be the track that it's going to continue to go down. But Montana governor declares emergency as snowstorm dumps several feet of snow in northern Rockies. More than 3 feet of snow has fallen in parts of Montana thus far. Travel is hazardous and several tractor trailers spun out of control. The Blackfeet Nation says schools and tribal offices will be closed on Monday. With heavy snowfall continuing to create hazardous travels conditions across the state, knock out power across the northern Rocky Mountains on Sunday, Montana's governor, Steve Bullock, issued executive order declaring an emergency in the state because of the severe early storm. According to the release, these areas hardest hit include Cascade, Flathead, Glacier, Lake, Lewis and Clark, Lincoln, Pondera, Teton counties, and the Blackfeet Indian Reservation. Let's see if we can get some snow totals here. The Blackfeet Nation Emergency Operator System Center reported 40 inches of snow in Browning, Montana as of 9 a.m. this morning. Schools in Browning and tribal offices will be closed on Monday. Duper Creek in Teton County saw 32 inches of snow. The National Weather Service reported 30 inches fell in Badgers Pass in Pondera County. Great Falls and Cascade County has reported 14 inches of snow. And I will say this, that they are now 2 inches away from breaking their, first of all, early fall snow totals in 2 days. The previous record is 16.1 inches, and I believe that happened in November of 2005. So a few more hours of snow should break that record, but as you're looking at the radar right now, Great Falls, it does appear that it is winding down. Snow showers will be sparse throughout the evening, so they may just fall shy of that record. But still, we're talking about 3 to 4 feet of snow in some areas in Montana, and of course, we don't have all the totals just yet. We're still waiting for all of those reports to come in as well. Between 1,000 and 1,500 power outages were reported mainly in Montana, western Montana, that was on Saturday evening. Strong storms also knocked out the power to around 20,000 people in Portland, Oregon metro area early on Saturday evening. The thunderstorms brought hail and gusty winds and even circulating clouds to northern Oregon. The National Weather Service in Spokane, Washington said 19 inches of snow has been reported at Boyd's, Washington, about 80 miles northwest of Spokane. So, again, some impressive totals coming in from this snowstorm, and we have only begun as far as getting the amount and the totals here in the coming days. So, continuing to move on, let's take a look now at our hurricane that we have in the Atlantic that's just spinning around. It is a Cat 5 at this moment. And let's get our latest stats on this particular storm, as Lorenzo, believe it or not, may have a chance to have some effect in Ireland and the UK. However, that's not 100%, but still, we're looking at the models right now, and it has to be a little bit of concern. But right now, the storm has died down. It is no longer a Cat 5. Winds are at 115 miles per hour with a central pressure of 948 millibars, and it is moving north-northeast at 10 miles per hour. Now let's take a look at the track that we think that we'll be looking at for this particular storm. And it looks like Ireland definitely has a shot at some possibilities of impact when this storm does arrive. Now this is according to this model here. We're looking at possible impacts in the area on September, well, this will be October. This will be on Friday in this coming week. So let's take a look at our GFS report real quick and see where we're looking at on Friday for this particular area as far as Lorenzo is concerned. There's Tuesday. That's one low pressure system that's not related to Lorenzo. And then we get here on Wednesday, October. Thursday, there's Lorenzo popping in. Right now, this storm looks like it's just going to kind of just scrape by and bring some rain to mainly Ireland, and then the UK will get some showers from this as well. Some of these rain showers will be heavy. But what we're looking at, too, is wave after wave of low pressure systems, rain, and snow in Sweden, Finland, and also Norway. So, but lots of rain coming to the UK and Ireland. And I think it's safe to say that this storm, Lorenzo, is definitely ushering in a chance of low after low. That's the first low pressure system out of the area by Wednesday. And then here comes Lorenzo, just throwing some moisture and wind really up the region. But after Lorenzo is done, there's another low pressure system. That's system number 3 by the weekend. So 3 low pressure systems to bring rain to the region in the UK and Ireland as well. Also Denmark and Sweden, Norway and Finland also will be included in that particular area. And this is going to be for the first week of October, and then heading into the second week. It doesn't stop there. Here we are, Monday of the second week of October. More moisture into the UK, into Europe, France, Germany. More snow for Norway, possible for Finland as well. And this is midweek, second week of October. So very wet pattern coming up, very wet and windy and cool as well. But majority chances of snow we're going to be seeing is Norway and Finland for next week and the week following, as this GFS model is indicating. So again, let's recap. Lorenzo definitely appears to be a possible threat to the region, but also it seems like it's going to bring in a slew of storms for that area, for our friends across the pond, which they are now starting to see a huge uptick in their weather system and their weather events. As well here in the US, once this snowstorm moves out, we get this large amount of rain that goes through the Midwest. And this is where my live show stuff is awesome. Yeah, sorry about that, folks. But looking into the future, I guess we could take a look at it this way here on this angle. This also gives us a better look at Lorenzo and its track. High pressure is trying to make its way into the United States, but we also see our fair share of rain and more snow possible towards the middle of October. But as the low pressure systems start to ramp up for the UK, we're also looking at a very wet pattern across the most of the United States.
Yes, I'm going to check it.
David, evening to you, sir. Finally, we go at a time where you could actually say hello. So it's good to see the Starman in the chat. Thought we'd give a little shout out to you guys because it looks like your weather here soon is going to be pretty active. Like I said, lots of snow chances for Norway, Finland, and Sweden. But mainly the story here is going to be rain. Right after Lorenzo remnants come through the Ireland and UK, it's just system after system bringing lots of rain, and I'm sure with that it's going to be driving temperatures down as well. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, so I mean it's pretty much almost identical to what we're getting ready to go through here in the US. Once we get to around mid-October, we start to see a lot more fall temperatures across the UK, France, Germany, and of course freezing temperatures up in Norway, Sweden, and Finland. Our friend Henrik in Denmark, you're still going to be experiencing the 40s and 50s, maybe some low 60s, but fall is definitely here. And with that being said, when you have that much cloud coverage, that much rain, that also helps keep temperatures down as well. So lots to talk about, lots going on here. Space Weather has created quite an event in Montana. Also, it has helped aid, I believe, the growth of Lorenzo, but it has since fell back to 115 mile per hour winds. Now that's ironic, well not ironic, but it's another coincidence, another correlation that once that solar storm died down, once the solar winds died down, once we started getting bombarded with cosmic rays and highly charged particles, the KP goes down, the strength of Lorenzo, which was oddly strong in the first place in the Atlantic to begin with. So again, not a coincidence, I shouldn't have said that. It is an absolute 100% correlation with what the sun does to the climate here on Earth. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me tonight. Thank everyone for stopping in and saying hello and checking up on our update for the snowstorm in Montana and also some of the space weather that we've experienced over the weekend. We'll be back tomorrow morning with another solar update, and then Monday evening we will also do a show at 9 p.m. doing a full grand solar minimum news update and your forecast outlook weather for the next 2 weeks. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we will talk soon. Take care.
Do you like this show? Give us a thumbs up. Want to support us more? Share to your favorite social media platform, buy a t-shirt, or become a Patreon. All links.